Hey, so you're thinking about moving to North Shoreview. You really shouldn't until you know these 8 important things about North Shoreview. I'm Conrad, your Bay Area realtor. The 8 key aspects of North Shoreview I'll be covering in this video are: where is it? How is transportation and accessibility? The affordability and availability of housing? How are the homes themselves? How are the schools? How is crime? The 4 parks of North Shoreview, and last but not least, local businesses here in North Shoreview. If you're considering a move to or within the Bay Area, let me know. We can connect and see if potentially working together might make sense. Here's my cell number, and you can see my website and the rest of my contact info in the description down below. Give me a call, text, or email, and don't forget to like and subscribe. And now let's get into the video. First, where is it? North Shoreview is bounded by Highway 101 on the west, the Coyote Point Recreation Area on the north, San Francisco Bay on the east, and 3rd Avenue on the south. Next, we'll go over ease of transportation in terms of walking, biking, and driving. North Shoreview has a walk score of 74 out of 100 on walkscore.com, meaning that most errands can be accomplished on foot. Walkscore.com also gives it a bike score of 78 out of 100 with the comment that biking is convenient for most trips. North Shoreview is also really close to downtown San Mateo. It's about a 2-minute walk or a 2-minute drive or around a 10-ish minute walk down East 3rd Avenue. And North Shoreview also offers easy access to Highway 101, which can be accessed through East 3rd Avenue, also through the exit 416 interchange. And that's about halfway between North Shoreview and downtown. Since it's close to Highway 101, North Shoreview has easy access to just about everywhere in the peninsula, including the SFO airport, which is about a 10-ish minute drive away. North Shoreview also has the added benefit that it's not a noisy neighborhood, because unlike in Foster City, where airplanes fly right over your house, which you can imagine isn't the quietest thing ever, in North Shoreview, the planes fly over the bay to the east of the neighborhood. And North Shoreview, additionally, is also closer to the airport than Foster City is. Next, we'll go over the affordability and availability of homes in North Shoreview. First, affordability. The average North Shoreview sale price from June 2023 to June 2024 is $1.149 million, which is 86.75% of San Mateo's average sale price as a whole for the same period, which is $1.325 million. There are no HOAs for single-family homes that I know of. Most were built between the 30s and the 50s. And I say that as somebody who knows basically all the homeowners in North Shoreview and who actually lives in North Shoreview in a house that has no HOA. But since we're speaking of HOAs, there is the Promenade Townhouse Complex off of Bayshore Boulevard, which was built in 2017. And this does have an HOA of around $400 or so, depending on the kind of unit you get. So, next, availability. How many homes go for sale each year in North Shoreview? Well, between June 2023 and June 2024, 32 single-family homes went for sale. And in that same time frame, 3 condos and townhouses also went up for sale. Now, after that, let's move on to talking about the homes themselves. Like I touched on just a bit earlier, almost all of the homes in North Shoreview, were built between the 1930s and the 1950s. In the 30s, about 2.6% of currently existing homes in North Shoreview were built. In the 50s, 2.9% of them were built. It was in the 40s that there was a real boom, and 92.6% of North Shoreview homes were built in that decade. All of the remaining 1.75% or so of North Shoreview's houses were built in all the decades since then. None were built in the 1980s, and none were built after the early 2000s. So now onto the home styles. There's really not a crazy amount of variation in terms of home styles, which, since most of the homes were built in the same decade, isn't really all that surprising. The homes are mostly different variations on ranch-style houses. But here are a couple of examples of homes in North Shoreview, and I'll just put those on the screen. Next, we'll cover the schools. First, in terms of public school districts, North Shoreview falls under the San Mateo Foster City School District for K-8 students, and the San Mateo Union High School District for high school students. There are 6 schools that are important to North Shoreview residents, and you can learn more about each and every one of them in the links in the description down below. So first is North Shoreview Montessori. This is a public K-8 school with an A- overall rating by niche.com. Second is St. Timothy Catholic School, which is a private K-8 school with an A+ overall rating by niche.com. Number 3 and number 4 are both preschools, which I've decided to include here. A lot of non-North Shoreview parents send their kids to these preschools out of their merit. So, number 3 is the Building Kids School of San Mateo North. This is a preschool that has a 5-star rating on Yelp and a 4.5-star rating on Google. This school has been active since 2022, and before that, it was Early Bird Preschool, which was family-owned and operated from 1987 to 2022. The staff at Building Kids is mostly the same as it was at Early Bird, which I know because I know the staff there. You can learn more about them from the link in the description. Number 4 is the San Mateo Parents Nursery School, which is a preschool that has a 4.7-star rating on Yelp and a 4.8-star rating on Google that has been serving the community here since 1947. You can learn more about them from the link in the description. Number 5 and number 6 are not in North Shoreview itself, but they are public schools which serve kids living in North Shoreview. Kids in North Shoreview are zoned to go to these schools by default. So number 5 is San Mateo High School, which is just across the Peninsula Avenue overpass over Highway 101, and it has an A+ overall rating by niche.com, and it has a state-of-the-art biotech building and programs for students of the San Mateo Union High School District, which I've included more info about at the links in the description. And last but not least, school number 6 is Bayside Academy, which was formerly a grade 6 through 8 middle school, but which now is a fully fledged K-8 school. And Bayside has a B+ overall grade from niche.com. Now, onto crime. North Shoreview is not outstanding in one direction or the other when it comes to crime. The crime rating on Realist, which is a tool that us realtors have access to, shows that the crime rating in North Shoreview is 54 points out of 100, where a higher ranking on this higher score on this ranking represents a safer neighborhood. Compare this to 47 points out of 100 for Laurelwood, which is a much more upscale area in western San Mateo, or 60 points out of 100 in the area of Aragon Boulevard, which is also considered quite upscale and is located in west central San Mateo. There isn't really any granular, detailed data available for North Shoreview itself. The data available online pertains to the larger Shoreview neighborhood as a whole, which covers the area of North Shoreview and South Shoreview, which goes down to Highway 92 from East 3rd Avenue and the Marina Lagoon to the west, which is where San Mateo and Foster City meet. So the most detailed source, which I will include below, is crimegrade.org, which rates North Shoreview Shoreview as a whole, in the 82nd percentile for safety, meaning that it's safer than 82% of neighborhoods in the U.S. Now let's cover parks and recreation. There are 4 major parks and recreation areas in North Shoreview: Coyote Point, Harborview Park, Ryder Park, and Seal Point Park. All of them are located along the bayshore and are not far from each other. So, the first recreational area is the Coyote Point recreation area. This is basically the northern boundary of North Shoreview, and there's a lot to do here. It's one of the most prominent recreation areas in this part of the peninsula. One thing you can do at Coyote Point is simply to walk or bike along the eucalyptus trees that line the part of the San Francisco Bay Trail that goes through Coyote Point. This trail is still being completed, and as it is now, it's over 350 miles in length, and when it is completed, it'll be over 500 miles in length. Windsurfing and sailing are other popular activities at Coyote Point Beach, which is on the northern shore of Coyote Point. The Poplar Creek Golf Course is also located here at Coyote Point, where golfers can play 18 holes. And for kids, there's the Magic Mountain Playground, which is built with a castle and dragon theme. There's also Curiosity. This is a science museum and zoo with over 50 interactive science exhibits that are geared towards kids, a zoo with around 100 rescued animals that cannot survive alone in the wild, an aviary with a number of birds that also cannot survive alone in the wild, and gardens of mostly native plants. The second recreational area is Harborview Park. Harborview is 5 to 10 minutes walking distance from Coyote Point along the San Francisco Bay Trail. It has a kids' playground, 2 picnic areas, and a baseball field called Door Field. For each of the 2 picnic areas, each has 2 picnic tables and 1 barbecue each. One can be reserved, one is drop-in, so first come, first serve. For the reservable one, reservations are for full day increments, and it costs $71 for residents of the city of San Mateo and $91 of non-residents to reserve. There's also a basketball court, a passive lawn, though admittedly it's not really that big, and a kids' playground. The third recreational area is Ryder Park. Ryder Park is in the southeast corner of North Shoreview. It's about a 15-minute walk along the Bay Trail or around a 5-ish minute bike ride from Harborview Park. It has a pretty big kids' playground area and a water fountain feature for kids to play in. It also has a large area of passive lawns, which is much more extensive than at Harborview. Ryder Park also has a pavilion with 10 benches and 2 barbecues that you can go to, and it's divided into 2 sections that you can also rent out. One is called the Starfish and the other is the Sand Dollar. And each one of these is pretty much identical. It has 5 benches and 1 barbecue. Reservations are for full day increments only, like at Harborview, and it costs $93 a day for residents and $113 a day for non-residents of the city of San Mateo. So outside of that, there's an area of 4 picnic benches that is first come, first serve, closer to the trail. So can you go to the reservable picnic areas anyway, whether at Ryder Park or at Harborview? Well, if there's nobody there, I mean, you can't really be faulted for that, since there aren't any signs anywhere that say whether it's reserved or not. But if a party shows up that has reserved it, then they do have the right to use the picnic areas. In other words, use your common sense. So, anyway, moving on from that, on the San Francisco Bay Trail side of Ryder Park, there is an arch suspension bridge that goes over the mouth of San Mateo Creek, and I'll be putting a picture of that right on the screen here. And it goes right across the creek to Seal Point Park. And you could argue that Seal Point Park is actually in Shoreview and not North Shoreview, but we're going to cover it here and count it as the last of the North Shoreview parks. So, park number 4 is Seal Point Park. There are 2 main attractions to Seal Point Park. The first is the dog park, which is made up of 2 separate fenced-off areas that when combined are about 3 acres in size. The second is the hill right on the bay shore, which has trails and scenic points, and it's accessible by car and it has a small parking lot on top. From the top of the hill, you get panoramic views of the entire bay, Coyote Point, the San Bruno Mountain in San Francisco, the East Bay, the San Mateo Bridge. You can see it all at once right from the top of the hill. Also, there's lots of parking. There's the parking lot on top of the hill, of course, and there's also an extensive lot on the foot of the hill on the side inland from the bay right by the dog park. And the last detail to mention about Seal Point Park is that there's also a boat ramp on the eastern side of it called the Windsurfing and Kayak Launch, which people use as a launch point to, well, windsurf and kayak, which are popular activities here, not unlike at Coyote Point. So now, on to local businesses. North Shoreview really is almost an entirely residential neighborhood. There's a small commercial area on South Kingston and Cypress that has a laundromat, a couple of Latino restaurants, and a market. And there are also a small handful of businesses along Bayshore Boulevard next to the freeway. But there are also way more businesses in downtown San Mateo that I just cannot even begin to get into here. And like I mentioned in the ease of transportation section earlier in this video, downtown is really close by and also really easy to access. So that's pretty much everything as it relates to North Shoreview. It's a corner of San Mateo on the Bayshore that's more affordable than average for San Mateo, has highly rated schools, beautiful parks, and a location that shields it from airplane noise and simultaneously gives it easy accessibility to other parts of the bay through Highway 101. So, should you move to North Shoreview? That's up to you. These were just the facts. So, that's all. Are you considering moving to or within the Bay Area? Let me know. We can connect and see if potentially working together might make sense. Here's my phone number, and you can see my website and the rest of my contact info in the description. Don't hesitate to give me a call, text, or email. There's absolutely no obligation. And also don't forget to like and subscribe. See you in the next video.